Chapter 64:16. Duncan thought again and said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, Duke Mining is relatively closed. And all the dead men must be imprisoned in the underground mines. So we can give priority to transferring these dead men and their families in batches. And wait for them to be transferred out. And then transfer the cavalry guards in batches. Then," Duncan said, "when transferring the dead men, as long as we are concealed enough, the outside world should not find any abnormalities. Even the more trade in Casablanca will not notice the abnormalities. However, once the cavalry guards are transferred, it is equivalent to transferring the labor force of Duke Mining, which will inevitably lead to a decrease in Duke Mining's production capacity or even cessation. Duke Mining has trains transporting phosphates almost every day. Once the production capacity decreases, more trade will notice it. So I suggest that once you successfully take over Duke Mining, you must let them work overtime to mine and produce more. At least produce a few more days of supply, so that when the cavalry guards are gradually withdrawn in the future, the outside world will not notice the abnormalities." Charlie nodded in agreement and said, "Good idea. First gradually withdraw the dead soldiers, and then gradually withdraw most of the cavalry guards, leaving only the open security and loading workers. After the last batch of phosphates to be delivered are loaded, most of these people can also be withdrawn, leaving only the last batch of loaded carriages and docking personnel. When the train delivers the empty cars for the last time and takes away the last train full of phosphates, the remaining people can also complete the evacuation on the same day. In this way, when the train comes again the next day, Duke Mining will be empty. The news will definitely shock more trade, and then report to the Right Army Governor's office layer by layer. And finally report to Victoria all the way, and our goal will be achieved." Duncan said, "Then the most difficult problem is how to withdraw people batch by batch. Duke Mining is located in the hinterland of the country, and the port of Casablanca and the surrounding waters are heavily guarded. Organizing thousands of people to smuggle from the inland to the coastline will not have a high success rate. How should these people leave the country?" Charlie said, "Since it is difficult to leave the country, it is better not to leave the country first." "Not leaving the country?" Duncan asked him. "Do you mean to keep all these people in Morocco?" "Mr. Wade, in their cargo list, there are more than 100 tons of meat secretly imported alone. It is estimated that there must be at least several thousand people. How can so many people hide in Morocco without being discovered?" Charlie said, "Detective Lee, you go to acquire a few companies. It is best to acquire a food processing company in a remote area first. After the acquisition is completed, immediately use the reason of upgrading the production line to let all their employees take paid leave for a period of time. At that time, I will transport people in batches to the food processing company for temporary settlement. First, send a batch in openly and declare to the outside world that they are technical workers for upgrading the production line. Later, disguise them as transporting equipment and send people in one after another. A food processing company should have a large amount of food raw materials, finished products and semi-finished products, enough to meet the meals of thousands of people in a short period of time. Even if it is not enough, it is natural for a food processing company to purchase some ingredients from outside, which will not arouse suspicion. In addition, you have to acquire a logistics company to facilitate the transportation of personnel and materials, and gradually settle all people in the food processing company. At the same time, you have to let AI hack into the security system of the port of Casablanca, and make a fuss from the surveillance video to forge signs that these people have sneaked into the port of Casablanca by rail one after another, making it look like the clues of these people were disconnected at the port of Casablanca. When the time comes, as long as the Warriors' Den comes to investigate, they will definitely think that these people have left Casablanca, and will definitely find a way to track down the information of the ships that left the port during this period, and then confirm which ships these people are on. But they will definitely end up with the same result as the Cyprus incident. They won't be able to find out anything. To them, it's as if all these people have evaporated. The more they can't find out, the more they will think that this is just a replica of the Cyprus incident. They will also think that these people must have disappeared at sea. They won't think that these people are still in Morocco. Duncan thought for a moment and said, Mr. Wade, I suggest that we take the initiative this time and use offense instead of defense to give them a greater sense of oppression and crisis. Once they have enough sense of crisis, they will focus on how to protect themselves. And accordingly, they will reduce their determination and investment in investigating this matter. Charlie asked, Inspector Lee, what do you think of attacking instead of defending? Duncan said, after evacuating everyone, why not just go all out and leave some information at Duke Mining for the Warriors' Den? That is shocking enough. You can directly make clear their plans in Nigeria and let them know that all their plans are under your control, including the 3 elders who are lying in ambush there. I personally suggest that you can even leave a message for that Victoria, telling her by name that you will take her life sooner or later. That way, the Warriors' Den will definitely be thrown into disarray. And by then they may not have the energy to track down clues in Morocco. Charlie nodded and fell into deep thought. After a moment, he suddenly smiled and said, Since the 3 elders have come out of retreat, they will definitely receive the news once the truth about what happened here is revealed. If I also disclose the secrets of the Niwan Palace of the 4 Earls, I wonder if it will arouse their suspicion of Victoria. If they have the same secrets in their bodies, this is also a good opportunity to alienate them. And then all kinds of crises will be enough to make her suffer. Charlie did not have much to hide from Duncan. After all, he knew more about his secrets than his grandparents' family. He also knew how incredible his method of resurrecting him was. With his logical thinking ability, he could have guessed his current situation long ago. Therefore, Charlie did not hide the matter of the 4 Earls from him. When Duncan heard Charlie's plan, his eyes suddenly lit up and he said with a smile, What a good plan to sow discord. This move will not only work on the 3 elders, but will also have some impact on other members of the Warriors' Den, making them all feel insecure. This will be a checkmating tactic for Victoria. Although it is impossible to checkmate her, it will be enough to make her suffer.